Imagine stepping outside on a freezing winter night. The temperature is so cold it feels like knives piercing your skin. Now imagine walking for miles, the frost creeping into your bones, your body shutting down, your limbs freezing stiff, until you collapse in the snow, lifeless. But here's the twist, you wake up hours later alive. This is not a movie, this is not fiction, this is the unbelievable true story of Jean Hilliard, a young woman who survived something that should have been medically impossible to do so. A woman who was literally frozen solid for 6 hours, yet someone, somehow against all odds, lived. How did she survive? What mysterious forces kept her alive? Was this an unexplainable medical miracle or something beyond science? Today we dive deep into one of the most chilling survival stories ever recorded. Our story takes place on December 20, 1980, a tiny town called Langby, Minnesota, a place so small barely 100 people live there. That night the temperature had dropped to a brutal minus 22 degrees Fahrenheit, cold enough to freeze exposed skin in minutes. Jean Hilliard, a 19-year-old girl, had been out with friends. It was a simple night of fun until everything changed. Midnight, she decided to drive home, but the roads were a sheet of ice, and as she turned the corner, disaster struck. Her car was stuck, no movement, no way to drive out. And this was 1980, no cell phones, so keep that in mind. No way to call for help, just silence, just the cold. Jean had no choice. She needed to get help. She knew her friend Wally Nelson lived nearby, about 2 miles away. That didn't seem far, but in temperatures, this is very extreme. Every step would be war. She wasn't dressed for this journey. A winter coat, mittens, cowboy boots, but no real protection against a deadly cold that could freeze a person to death in just minutes. The cold started stealing her strength. Her legs burned from the effort, but her body was just shutting down. With every step, she became slower, weaker, and number. And then finally she saw it, Wally's house. Just a few more steps. Suddenly her legs gives out. There, just 15 feet from the front door, Jean lays completely still. Her body couldn't move. Her mind fades into darkness. Her breath gets shallow, then disappears. The cold had claimed her, and for the next 6 hours, she laid in the snow, lifeless. A door creaks open. Wally Nelson. A door creaks open. Wally Nelson steps out. At 7 a.m., Wally Nelson stepped outside, and what he saw made his blood run cold. Cold. Jean, she was frozen stiff. Her body was like a block of ice. Her legs wouldn't bend, her face was pale blue, and worst of all, her eyes were wide open. She was dead, or at least that's what everyone thought. But sheer determination and panic coursing through his veins, Wally hoisted Jean's frozen body, her limbs unyielding, making the task arduous. He maneuvered her diagonally into his cart, the urgency of the situation propelling him forward. The clock was ticking, every second counted. Wally knew the nearest hospital in Fallston was their only hope. A 15-mile journey over treacherous, icy roads. Upon arrival, the medical team sprang into action, their faces a mix of shock and determination. Jean's body was so cold. It felt like reaching into a freezer. Her skin was ashen, her eyes unblinking, and her limbs immovable. They connected her to a heart monitor, detecting a faint, irregular rhythm, a dead rhythm. The gravity of the situation was evident. They were battling against the odds. The team initiated the warming process, applying heating pads to her body, hoping to gradually raise her core temperature. They knew that rapid warming could be dangerous, but time was of the essence. Minutes felt like hours as they watched for any signs of revival, their hope wavering yet unwilling to give up. Then, against all expectations, a miracle unfolded. Jean's body began to react, twitches in her limbs, faint murmurs escaping her lips, the first signs of life emerging from her frozen state. The room buzzed with renewed energy. The impossible was happening before their eyes. Over the next hours, Jean's condition improved rapidly. Her consciousness returned, and she began speaking. Her body was warming up, and functions were normalizing. Amazingly, she suffered no permanent damage, not even a frostbite. Jean's survival became a medical phenomenon, baffling experts worldwide. How could someone frozen solid for 6 hours survive without lasting traumatic physical effects on the body? Theories and ideas emerged, but none could fully explain the extent of her miraculous recovery. Jean Hilliard became a symbol of hope and resilience, her story inspiring many. Jean's experience serves as a testament to human endurance and the mysteries of the human body. Her story reminds us of the brittleness and strength within us all, and the unpredictable nature of life. Always a force and source of mystery. As we conclude this tale, let us carry forward the lessons of hope and perseverance, and the unwavering spirit that resides in each of us. Jean Hilliard's story is not just about survival, it's about the miracle of life itself.